Hey, welcome to another episode of Unrestricted Content Podcast. I'm one of your co hosts, Susan Layton, and I am here with the talented Abby Fagan. How's it going, Abby?
Doing good. How are you
That's
doing?
great.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. I can't even, I don't even have enough time to turn around. But other than that, it's going really well. How about with you?
It's really good. I'm finally getting the hang of this live thing, I think. Maybe not.
Oh, good. Good. And I didn't even put it out there that we were going live, so
Oh,
okay.
good.
They'll get it, which is good. So we've got some interesting news to talk about tonight on the podcast in our What the Fuck Hollywood segment because it's exactly what it is. There's a lot of that going on this week. And then we want to talk a little bit about some interesting news that's going on. Other than Hollywood, is mutual acquaintances of ours at the Ash people that what am I talking about? At the Evil Dead musical in San Jose had an interesting tweet today that I responded to, and I thought we might chat about that for a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, my new hashtag for this is anybody that's out there, go ahead and take this and run with it. I'd love this to trend. Hashtag STFU. That's just I'm getting a T-shirt with that. I think it's just great. It's just a blanket statement for a lot of stuff, especially that tweet. We're gonna talk. I might do a little surprise tonight. We were gonna do who's in the van, but I might switch it up to something else because I'm
Ooh.
unpredictable that way. I don't know. I don't know if you're down for that, but yeah. So we might do a little surprise. But then, since our Joe Bob Briggs got cut off last week for our episode 2, which reminds me, when can the folks expect episode 2?
Oh, as soon as I send it to you. I forgot to
All
send it
right.
to you. I'm sorry.
No. That's fine. I just want to make sure that gets out there because people actually have been asking about it, and quite proud of this because I fucked up and didn't do the right hashtags or what have you for my very first spin on YouTube with you. When I put the hashtags back in, we now have almost 100 views on our very first podcast.
Yay. That's
Yeah, I know.
fantastic.
Now, that's like baby steps, but it's pretty darn good for something that I put out there that I was like, oh, we have to hashtag this or we have to basically tag this with things. Oh, that's interesting. So now I know what to do going forth. So we should be good in that area. But we're going to talk a little bit about the contest because I do have some Bubba Hotep comics too. But that'll be some for some other fun things for the listeners. So, are you ready to get into what the fuck Hollywood?
Heck yeah.
All right, let's do this. So, Ruby Rose of oh gosh, why is that? Orange is the New Black. God, that was bad. I couldn't even remember that. So, Ruby Rose from Orange is the New Black is has been cast as Batwoman. And interestingly enough, she's now left Twitter and she's disabled her comments on Instagram
Really?
because fans are criticizing her casting by saying that she is not gay enough and that she's not Jewish.
Wow.
Yeah, so let's explain this. For those of you that are familiar with Ruby, this will be old news. But Ruby, she describes herself as gender fluid. She came out at age 12. That's pretty young to come out. She's never been shy about her sexuality. She's never, been in the closet. and why people would take somebody that is openly proud of her sexuality and say that, well, you can't do this role because you're not a lesbian, or the fact that you're not Jewish. I mean, then who is going to really play any crime hero, or rather superhero? Because how many people have, donned tights and fought bad guys? Nobody. So, well, maybe if you're role playing, but that's a whole other kind of cosplay thing. Um, that belongs with 50 Shades of Grey. But with this, I don't understand what the problem is. And she was getting so much pushback that what she finally said was, I didn't change. I wish we would all support each other and our journeys. And it's just ridiculous now that they're having hashtag recast Batwoman. They want to see big legend Ashley Platts get the role. I don't know. I just am kind of aghast at this. Because here's a woman that is openly, she says gender fluid, but that also means she does and has had women partners. I don't understand where the disconnect is. Maybe you can explain this to me, Abby. What, how do you, I mean, does this make sense to you?
Well, the thing about it is that it's called acting for a reason.
Oh, really? Is that what they call it? It's
Yeah,
not real?
and it's
Oh,
not
okay.
real life. Why should it? I mean, that's why she got into the career so that she could be somebody else, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't understand why people would think that it would be any different for, I don't understand it. It's called acting for a reason.
Right, it is. And I don't get it, because she identifies, especially on Instagram, she came out and she said that, she would have died to have seen on TV when she was a young member of the LGBT community that were never represented on TV. She would have loved to have seen a character like this. And at what point are we just not going to be able to do anything? At what point is Hollywood just going to shut the doors? I mean, that's never going to happen. But theoretically, if we are now denigrating an actress who's openly gay or who's openly gender fluid for not being gay enough, or not, I don't know. She said that she's had to deal with, for the past 5 years, she's had to deal with being too gay. And now, she's like, how y'all flip it like that? And that's what I want to know. So, you know, the fact that she is just part of a growing trend that's happening now in social media. Ruby's left. Michael Rooker's gone. There's so many people that have left from Star Wars, because I know you're a Star Wars fan.
Mm-hmm.
And at what point is it just like all of the stars leave social media? None of their fans can keep in touch with them or know what they're doing because they're going to have to wait to read about it in a trade. And not everyone gets the trades unless you're affiliated with show business. And I mean, at what point is this getting to be ridiculous? We're forcing people off, social media. And the big selling point of social media was to get closer to the people that you admire. And then, when I wrote an article about fandom is ruining popular culture, I still stand by that. And you can all come at me all you want about it, but I'm sorry. It's like, these rabid pockets of fans that are, going after these celebrities. It's not, I'm sorry, it's not voicing your opinion. When you're forcing someone off social media because you're threatening them or you're doing hate speech, why don't you just get off social media? That's my point. I mean, I'm kind of vehement about this because I'm sorry. Some people think, well, we're having a dialogue. A dialogue is when two people go and talk about whatever issue it is. This forcing celebrities off social media is not a dialogue. Or am I just, crazy? I am crazy, but I mean, what do you feel that this is a dialogue that fans are having with creators?
Ah, I don't even know what's going on with the whole thing anymore. It seems like we're reverting back. Um, would it be so bad if they all dropped off social media? I mean, we lived in a
No.
time when we didn't have the social media connection with the celebrities and stuff, and it
Yeah.
was fine. We got to see the movies. Honestly, I think it might be a good idea.
Yeah, I mean,
It gave them that
some people,
elusiveness to them.
well, and here's the cornerstone of this. It's all about respect. We don't have that word. That word is gone from the lexicon. And why is it gone? I don't even want to get into that because then I'm skewing political and I will not get political. But we need to learn that word again. It's very important. And conversely, creators need to respect their clients or their fans. Would I be upset if everybody left social media? Probably not, because there's certain celebrities on there that I'm going to be blunt, I don't give a fuck what they think. And I don't. I don't want to see half the shit that they put out there. I don't care. Tell me about your latest role. Tell me what you're doing, but you know what? I don't want to know your personal life. I don't care. And if some of those people were to leave social media, frankly, that's a good thing. But you bring up a very valid point. When we were younger, we had fan clubs and we had things that you had to write. I know. Let me go back to old school. Back in the 1930s, when I was a teenager, and you had to crank cars, we had this thing. It was called it was called paper and a pen, and you wrote.
Don't you mean a
To
quill and an ink?
quill. That's right. I had a quill. I had a quill and this sheepskin scroll, and I used to write these letters, to whatever celebrity I happened to admire. And you sent these off, and if you were lucky, you got an autographed picture. And at that time, it's like all you really cared about was what movie they were in or what TV show they were watching.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't need to know about their personal life.
What they ate for
And
breakfast.
I don't want to see you on Instagram, taking a picture of your ass in a mirror. I don't want to see that. Now, maybe some people do. I don't.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, yeah, I don't want to see that. I could care less. And we didn't have that back then. But if celebrities all decide to leave Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, well, it's sad, but maybe that needs to happen because what we have now is not a dialogue. I'm sorry. People are going to be upset with me, but you know what? Pick a number. Everybody's upset with me lately. So it's like, that's my personal feeling on it. We're not dialoguing. When it isn't mutually beneficial communication, it's not a dialogue, it's a diatribe.
Mm.
So that's how I feel on that subject. I mean, there's not much more we can really go into because the celebrities are, dropping like flies. But speaking of social media, here's a rather funny story, and I actually reported on this. Okay, everybody, like, listen up because you could be in the next Avengers movie. Because Avengers 4 is looking for, get this, a butt double. So, all you people, just abandon your duck face and start taking pictures of your ass because Central Casting is looking for someone, or rather something, someone's butt, to be in the next Avengers 4 movie. I kid you not.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, the central casting, this is what it reads. It's like, it's for a feature film, Mary Lou, which is the code name for Avengers 4. The rate's $125. Let me click in on this while I'm looking at it. Here it goes. Central Casting is looking for a photo double to work on this exciting project. Filming will likely begin in early September, so you should have a flexible schedule and ability to work multiple days a week through October. An interview and fitting will be required within the next 2 weeks. Filming will mostly take place in Fayetteville and the greater Atlanta area. Experience is preferred. Now, before I get into the measurements, I went in on this interview. Who is experienced with being a butt double? I want to know where that is called for. Like, who comes to these auditions? And I use that, like, loosely. Is it stand-in? Can stand-in butt doubles? I mean, this is presumably for Scarlett Johansson, who plays Black Widow. You would think Scarlett already has a stand-in. Why couldn't she do the butt work?
Because she is not in her contract to do nudes.
Well, it's not nude because the picture they want you to take is, well, they want your head shot. Then they want a full body shot of your front side head to toe. Then they want a full body shot of your backside wearing all black, leggings or yoga pants, and must be form fitted. So you would think her stand in, or, would be her physical requirements and could do that butt shot.
Maybe
But
it's a
apparently not.
comparable position. Comparable.
Yep. Well, I mean, this is what they're looking for. So, ladies, if you're out there and you fit this bill, maybe you should just try for it. I mean, they're looking for a female who appears to be Caucasian, 20s to 30s, height 5'2" to 5'4",
Oh, shit.
bust 32B to 32D, waist 25 to 27, hips 36 to 38, dress size 0 to 4, hair color blonde.
Well, that sounds like not me.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking, wow, well, let's not even consider. I mean, not that
Is that her human form like that? 36, 24, 36. Wait, is that what it was?
Well, actually, the ideal female measurements used to be 36, 24, 36. Brick house, okay? But they're asking for 32B to 32D. Now,
okay.
32B is, that's not really a chest. No offense to anybody out there that's a B cup. No offense. 32D is pretty substantial for a petite person. So they want actually 32, 25, 36, and a dress size of 0 to 4. I'm thinking just get a Barbie doll and fucking shoot that.
A dress size of 0 to 4 with 36-inch hips?
Yeah, or 38.
Does that work? Can you be a...
In all my years, I will be honest, I've never been a 4. Now, I was a 6 at one time, but I've never, ever been, like, anywhere. Well, I can't be. I mean, I'm, like, 5'8". I think you're 5'8", too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're 5'8", unless you're, like, Charlize Theron or some other, gorgeous Amazon creature from heaven, you're not going to be a size 0 to 4. It's just not going to work. So
unless you're like totally anorexic, because I was a size 4.
Well, kudos to you.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I was super skinny, and people would tell me I was like little. No, I wasn't healthy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like body shaming anybody. If you have those measurements, great. I just don't know. Like you said, is this realistic? And I can just imagine, and I'd love to be central casting. I can just imagine what they're going to get. I can see it. And it's going to be beautiful because nobody's going to pay attention to these descriptions. You're going to get like all forms of hair color. You're not going to get people 5'2" to 5'4". You're not going to get that same bust size. You're
Well,
going to get, yeah, go
it
ahead.
would be discriminative if they were to not accept everybody's picture. I mean, granted, they did ask for a specific type, but at the same time, a job is a job, and they can't tell anybody no. So yeah, they're gonna get a slew of everybody, and that's fine. I think
Yeah.
everybody should have a butt shot.
I mean, just go in there and everybody. I'm just gonna make this point. Anybody that's listening to this, it's a female. Just send your picture in. It doesn't matter. Just go for it.
Yeah,
I mean, just
you are
hey, go.
beautiful the way you are. Show it off,
Yeah,
and hey,
yeah,
you might end up in the Avengers movie. Who knows?
yeah. True. I mean, maybe you won't double for ScarJo, which is apparently what's happening. But I mean, this story, I gotta be honest with you. When this came to me from the desk at Heroic Hollywood, I was like, well, now it's come to this. I'm writing about butt doubles. I'm
Well,
like, wow, this is a career high. Um, but it's an interesting story. So good luck out there to whomever is wants to be in the next Avengers movie as a butt double. Maybe we'll see your butt. That might be thrilling.
and if
That
you
that
do end up on the show or in the movie, please contact us so that we can have you on the show because we'd really
oh,
like to talk to you.
we would love that. We'd
Yes.
love to know the process. We'd love to know if there were interview questions. I mean, because I'd love to get in on that. Like, what are the questions that you can answer ask these candidates? Seriously, without going into sexual harassment and without going, hey, could you turn around and pick up that pencil for me? Thanks.
Right?
You know, I mean, what can you say? Hey, hi, how are you? Can you turn around? I want to look at your ass. I mean, this is just,
Hey,
I don't know what,
kudos to that casting director.
yeah. And more than likely, it'll be women because I can't imagine this being a good situation for a male casting director.
Especially in the day we are living in right now.
Yeah, that, especially if someone doesn't get the part and they're disgruntled, that would be a whole miasma that I don't think they want to open up there. But yeah. Moving on to something that's a little, still offbeat, but a lot of fun is Lodge 49. Did you get a chance to watch Moments of Truth and Service?
I'm only on episode 3.
Then
Okay.
you've seen two. That's
Oh,
Moments of Truth and Service.
oh, my bad. Yes.
Okay.
I don't pay attention to
Um,
the titles of things. I just know what number I'm on. I
yeah.
know that it tells you in the beginning, but I just don't pay attention. I'm terrible at it.
Well, I mean, the only reason I pay attention to it is because I have to, because I'm writing about it at TV Series Hub. Um,
Ah,
yeah.
yes.
So, for those of you that dig Lodge 49, I'm covering it at TV Series Hub, and I'm really excited about it. I just dropped my recap of the first two episodes, so very happy with that. And before we talk about the show, about that episode, I'm gonna kind of scoop this one here, and I may be interviewing a cast member for Lodge 49. And people who know me, it's not who you think. Okay. I was contacted by a PR firm. And this has been ongoing. We're trying to coordinate, but I may be interviewing Brent Jennings, who played Ernie Fontaine. So I'm excited about that because I love his character and I love Mr. Jennings as an actor. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I don't know if Eric Allen Kramer or David Piscasi are going to retweet this when we drop this particular episode, but all I'm going to say is, Eric, David, you're next because I want to get those two as well. So, you know, yeah, I would love to. I would love to get the entire cast eventually, but yeah. So Eric and David, DM me with any information because I'd love to talk to you next. So I'm kind of excited about this.
That is super
Um,
cool. That is
yeah, it
so
is.
super cool.
It is. And I turned around today, and I gotta get a little giddy about this. Turned around today in my followers, and who do I see among them? Jim Gavin,
No
the
way.
creator of Lodge 49. Yes, at Jim Del Taco. At Jim at Del Taco. Follow him on Twitter. He's an incredible writer, and because I'm a fellow writer, not in his category, I really get all into the writing of Lodge 49 because I think it's a strong suit. And when I saw he was following me, I was like, holy crap, this is great. So, the episode that was last Monday was just, I gotta say, phenomenal. Um, just the dynamics that we're seeing now. Now we're able to get into these characters and their relationships with each other. And one of the funniest scenes was when Ernie was on the links getting ready to tee off, and the course manager comes up to him and says, Larry Loomis. Okay, for those of you that aren't watching the show, Larry Loomis is the sovereign protector. He is the king of the lodge, so to speak. And he's, kind of like the conduit between the original lodge in London, which we learned about in this episode, and what's going on in Long Beach. But Larry's kind of an interesting guy because, like a Timex, he just keeps on ticking. He literally has like tons of heart attacks, but always survives. So this is his latest episode, and the course manager, where Ernie and Larry always golf, comes up and says, "Yeah, Ernie, if you're thinking about a memorial bench, yeah, you can talk to me about it." And Ernie's like, "What are you talking about?" And he goes,
He's not
"You're up,
dead yet.
Ernie, or you're next,
You're
you're
next.
next." And Ernie's like, "What?" And he's playing golf. You know what he's telling him? He's next on the tee. But Ernie misconstrues that and thinks he's saying he's next in the death pool, which I'm so glad I didn't have like a drink or anything because I would have just done a spit take. That was brilliant. The scene where now at the beginning of the show, we see in episode 2 what happened to Doug. He's in Nicaragua. He's getting ready to go surfing, and he gets bit by a snake, and it's pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's in court, and that was hysterical because he's very contrite, and I believe he was sincere when he tells that couple, "I just want your son to be as happy in that house as I was." And I think he's being sincere. But then when he tells them, "Hey, we should totally grill burgers on the BBQ," and then they mace him in the face. But the best part is when they cut to his interview to be a temp, and
Mm-hmm.
his
His
expression with the
eyes.
red eyes. And he's not good at Excel or PowerPoint. Well, that who is really? I mean, it takes a lot to be good at those, but that was a moment that was pretty good. And it's just interesting to see how all these characters interact. And Liz, I have to say, Liz's story, I really that was rough. Her sitting in the bank and explaining, my dad died. I don't really feel like I should owe this money. I didn't know about it. And the complete nature of the bank representative not really caring. Kind of like, I kind of like took pause with that because for a couple of years, and I'm not proud of it, I was a collector. And a lot of what she told Liz is what we did when people were so far behind. We explained third party collections, and it's not pleasant. And I really felt for Liz in that situation. And I mean, her life is just shamrocks. I mean, really, that boss that she has, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and for those of you that are fans of Rob Zombie, David Uri, who was in 31 and will be in the Three from Hell, Rob's next movie, played Champ. And Champ was one of the kitchen staff that she talked to with the new recruit, Heather, or whatever her name was, the blonde chick. And he was just so creepy funny. It was a really good moment for him. But Liz's life is, I mean, it's sad. It really is. And the fact that she copes with it by, doing super cleaning of her apartment and then locking herself, well, not locking, but putting herself in the refrigerator. I mean, I totally understood that. But what's interesting, and I'll just put this out there for fans of the show and for friends of ours that are Bruce Campbell fans, they mention a certain character on there, and this is Ernie's Holy Grail. He talks about the captain.
Oh, to his boss at the
Right,
plumber
Brian
place.
Doyle Murray.
Right.
Yes. And the captain is this mythical figure. He is Ernie's dream. He is a real estate developer that nobody can get to. He's spoken about in hushed tones. So this is a character that certain people are going to want to pay attention to because he does get mentioned. Um, so for you people that adore Bruce Campbell, this is a character you want to pay attention to. So he's featured, and then we get to see a little bit about the lodge dynamics, and they're very much like a dysfunctional family. You've got all the kind of infighting. Well, mostly on Scott's part, played by Eric Allen Kramer, because I think he wanted to succeed. He wanted to succeed Larry, and
Mm-hmm.
he's kind of a little taken aback that Ernie was given that chance. And that's why he keeps on saying when Ernie announces it, oh, we got to talk to London. We have to talk to London. So you get that uneasy dynamic because, yeah, those two, and maybe Scott doesn't know this right now, these two are rivals for Connie's affection.
Mm-hmm.
So that was an interesting dynamic, and one of my favorite characters next to Dud. And for those of you that are Dud haters, because I read a review where people were like, "Why is Dud the focus of this?" I'm sorry, I love Wyatt Russell. I love what he's doing with Dud. I love Dud. I think Dud is a great character, and for as type A as I am, I really identify with Dud. I get where Dud's coming from. And as much as I like him, but I like all the characters, I particularly really dig David Piscasi's Blaze St. John.
Oh, yes.
Oh, he's great. He's like the mythical guru. And for any of you guys that tuned in to Northern Exposure, he reminds me so much of Chris, the DJ. And he is going to end up, I think, being like Dud's spiritual mentor because he tells him some really, really impactful things like the lodge is about transformation, not alchemy, which we all know is transforming lead into gold or the myth of it. But it's about transforming yourself and learning to see things with your eyes in quotation marks. And that's very important because that's going to come up in future episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and one of the things I really liked that Doug said, and I felt that this was especially had a special meaning. And I mean, anybody that has ever felt like they didn't belong and that they were struggling, and that they felt like they were at their wits' end. Basically, Dud gives some very good parts. Actually, a speech, a dialogue that he gives, monologue rather, at the end when he's talking to Ernie, and he finally, admits he finds out that Ernie bilked him for $2,000, and he doesn't really care about that, but he demands the key to the lodge, demands that he becomes a squire because he knows Ernie took care of personal stuff with the money.
Mm-hmm.
So right off the bat, he's forgiving of Ernie, but he's letting Ernie know, hey, I'm not a total pushover. But the best moment in the show is when Dud turns to Ernie and he says, when I'm out there, I feel like I'm all alone. All these things chasing me, these dragons and dickheads, but it's different in here. And it is different in here. That basic, those sentences sum up Lodge 49 for me and why I've fallen in love with this show. Because it is different. It is different than what's on television right now. It is something that, it is an escape. I mean, these people, for all intent and purposes, and I said this in episode 2 with us, they are very much like our next door neighbors, people we work with. If you've ever belonged to a fraternal organization, and I grew up with it. I mean, my grandmother was in the Knights of Columbus. My uncle was an elf. That's pretty funny. But yeah, so it's like I've grown up around that, and it's very, very close to what they do in Lodge 49. And I love this show, and I hope it gets a second season. I hope it gets a chance. Because if you like this show, you need to hit the ground running, people. Come out with us, live tweet Mondays at 10 p.m., whatever time zone you're in. If it's Pacific, it's 7. If it's Central, it's 9. Come tweet with us and talk about Lodge 49. Get it out there on social media. They're on Instagram, they're on Facebook, they're on Twitter. And let AMC know you like this show
Mm-hmm.
because it's a small show and it needs the fans out there telling them, yeah, we're watching this AMC. We want you to keep this. How did you enjoy episode 2? Did you like it?
Yeah, it was a lot better than episode 1. I thought episode 1 was kind of slow to the build, but this one kind of picked up the pace a little bit. I mean, it still gave us a lot of insight into the characters and it really made me like them more. This was a really big build to their character, like who they really are, because the first one was just kind of like, here's an introduction to everybody. Now let's dig in a little deeper, and it shows how Dud got hurt. It shows how Ernie is a plumber. I mean, there's all his sister's job. Everybody's got their own little story, but it just, I really, really felt for the characters more after episode 2 than I did for episode 1.
Yeah. I mean, and I do identify with both Liz and Dud.
Mm.
And I've been Ernie in my life. I think I'm currently Ernie right now.
I think I'm currently Ernie too. Poor
yeah,
Ernie.
I think I'm Ernie, for a lot of different reasons. Um, but I identify with Liz and Dud a lot. And for those people that keep on saying, oh, Dud's just another extension of the Big Lebowski. No, he's not.
He's not.
He's not. I mean, Wyatt Russell, I wish I could talk to Wyatt Russell because he is doing so well with this character. And, he's just, believe it or not, it's hard to play a character like that because it's more than just a surfer dude. Dud is looking for something. All of these characters are searching. They want to be a part of something. They're floundering. They're
Hmm.
dysfunctional. They've got problems. You know, and that's not a topic that television discusses anymore.
No.
um, they don't want to watch shows like this because it's cooler to watch a show that has people that are, superpowers and all that stuff. And this is just regular, ordinary people. But there's something special about them. And I think in episode 3, we start to find out some, in quotation marks, magic about the lodge.
I love it.
Yeah, I do too. And, like I said, come out and tweet with us Monday. Do live tweet if you're on Twitter, and let's spread the love for this show. Because I'm telling you, it's we're not alone in liking it. There's a lot of industry people that are really digging Lodge 49. And like I said, for you fans out there that listen to us, that know Abby from Bruce on the Loose, that know me from my coverage of Bruce Campbell, you're going to want to stick with this show. That's all I'm going to say about it, because the payoff is going to be tremendous.
I can't wait to see.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
excited.
it's glorious. That's all I can say about it without giving it away. But moving on to a less happy topic, I guess, because Lodge 49 is really happy, is we're going to revisit James Gunn for a little bit, and this is no surprise here. Disney is not rehiring him.
That
And yeah, and we knew this was going to happen. And Kevin Feige of Marvel agrees with Disney on this. But then there's some talk in the air that James Gunn might resurface directing a future Marvel movie.
really for Disney?
Yeah. They just say Marvel. They do mention Warner Brothers in an article that I did on him. Warner Brothers was courting him very hard, but they can't be overt about it because of the fact that he's not done negotiating his payout.
Does Warner Brothers own Marvel? A bit of
No,
it?
no, no, no,
So it would be a
no.
DC, huh?
Yeah, that's DC. So they're thinking they might recruit him over there, but they're apparently Gunn had a meeting with the head person whose name is escaping me right now at Disney. And let me look here and see if I can find the gentleman's name, because I hate saying that. It
Oh.
doesn't sound good. But apparently, this fellow's name is. Let me get to him. Alan Horn.
Oh, yeah.
So Mr. Horn, studio chairman at Disney, had a meeting with Gunn, and I guess they both came to the decision that he should no longer be involved with Guardians 3. But we all knew this was coming. This isn't really news. I understand why they have to do it. Um, but I think Marvel doesn't want to lose him entirely. So I don't know how that's going to work.
Well, doesn't Sony own a bit of Marvel still?
Yes. Yeah.
So wouldn't Sony might pick him up?
Yeah, because Sony is trying their hardest to interject themselves into the MCU. See, this is what gets me. Whenever, and we see this with The Evil Dead, whenever you get to a magnitude of greatness, it's like everybody has their fingers in the pot. There's so many chiefs and not enough Indians, too many chefs in the kitchen, and so many different entities have this portion of the product and that portion of the product, and it gets confusing. I mean, if I worked for Marvel, I would be like, okay, so who owns this person and who owns this superhero? It seems confusing.
Is this happening? Is this happening?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do that. But like I said, it's no surprise that they went in that direction because they're family friendly and they do have a reputation to uphold.
Yeah, and I think that the backlash after the tweets were re-released would have been worse for Disney had they kept him on. That's all I have to say about that.
Well,
They were, I mean,
and I get what you're saying because I know you're a huge Disney fan. A lot of people also think that Disney jumped the gun, that they should have done an internal investigation of it.
well, I mean, Gunn did admit to it. So,
Yeah,
I mean, what kind of investigation can they do? He said what he said. It was enough to deter Disney.
yeah,
Did you read the tweets?
yeah. What?
Did you read the tweets?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I read them.
Yeah.
And they're kind of repugnant. Well, not kind of. They are repugnant. And see, I'm torn on this. I'm not really a good person to discuss this kind of stuff because, if you give an opinion, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Right. So maybe we
So
should just stop there.
yeah, yeah. Let's just stop with that and go into an even more controversial topic, which is Chris Hardwick is back.
What?
The Nerdist has reinstated him. He's back on their websites as the founder. And apparently, when he returned to the Talking Dead, he was very emotional and thanked people for sticking by him. And basically, he said that the Talking Dead was his refuge. That it's always been that way for 7 years. That they're a good little community. And he thanked people, and he was very, very emotional. And apparently, what some people were upset about is with the internal um, investigation that AMC did, they didn't include Chloe Dykstra, who didn't come out and say it was Chris Hardwick in her post on Medium, but you pretty much got the gist of who she was speaking of. And when she apparently on July 26th, she posted to Twitter and said she chose not to participate in the AMC investigation. And then after the verdict came out that Hardwick was reinstated, she issued another tweet saying she was 100% behind what she had said and just wants to get on with her life. Now, as a result, everybody that went to San Diego Comic Con knows that Hardwick was dropped from his Doctor Who panel, and he was removed from Talking Dead, but now he's reinstated. And apparently, he will return as the host of the NBC game show The Wall. And apparently, he will also, according to Entertainment Weekly, he will also be a guest judge on America's Got Talent.
Right. And that's already
So,
advertised news on the
yeah,
TV, so.
the TV, yeah. And this was kind of like one of these things where everybody was polarized on it. It's one of those things where, as somebody who is a journalist, I chose not to write about it for obvious reasons.
Mm.
Um, it's just, I don't even know where to begin with it, but I do know that some of the producers dropped out when they found out that Hardwick was back. I know there was backlash on Twitter. Some journalists that used to write for the Nerdist said, "Thank God I left it." And it's kind of like a polarizing topic. And in the end, will anybody really know what the truth is? I say they won't.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same thing with Gunn.
Yeah.
Damned
It's
if
a
you do and
gun.
you damned if you don't. So.
Yeah.
Best.
Yeah, that's the way it is. And this kind of ties into the whole social media aspect. that we were talking about, in my opinion. It's like, you know, I don't want to know your personal life, okay? And that isn't me saying to people that have been legitimately had a problem. I'm not saying be silent about it. But sometimes it's like I really wish that we didn't know as much as we know.
And we do know a whole lot more now.
Yeah, we know a whole lot more than we need to. And that's unfortunate with where we live and the times that we're in.
But at the
And
same time, it's a good thing because it did bring
yeah,
a lot of things to light. I mean, it's been going
right.
on for years. Everybody knows it. But now it's like,
It's out there.
it's out there and you can't get away
Yeah,
from it. And I think it's a great thing and it's a shame too because I I guess I don't know. Is it worth
yeah.
being in the dark? Probably not.
No,
Damned if you do, damned if you
no.
don't, Susan. I'm sorry. This is another topic.
No, it is. It is. It's like it's one of these things where unfortunately we talk about it and everybody will be talking about it, but it's polarizing and it's much like politics for me. It's like I desperately try when I have to, talk about controversial topics or, that sort of thing. I try to make sure that I can see both viewpoints
Yeah.
with it.
And
You
if
know,
you can't, I guess then you're kind of damned.
yeah, it is. And it just goes back to my whole thing of social media. Use your powers for good, people. That's pretty much what it is.
If
It's a tool that should be used for good.
I mean, if everybody was just good people, then we wouldn't have to deal with this stuff.
No. But unfortunately, in Hollywood has a history of the casting couch. Everybody knows about it. I mean, that thing has been around since movies began.
Yes.
Since Randolph Hearst took up with Marion Davies back in the day. I mean, it's been around forever, and it's sad that we're just bringing it to light now,
Yes.
or we're just talking about it now. This should have been a
Or
dialogue.
things are just starting to get done about this issue because we've all known about it. We've all known about it.
Right.
And
Right.
I guess now with the social media, everybody's connected in the sense. So now everybody's voice can be heard.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but back before, I mean, you and I were both back before internet. Nobody could say anything about anything unless they had like a group where they go and rally and they have sit downs and stuff. But they had a meeting where you all met in a room.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah, it is like you said. It's like we live in this age of information where everybody's a global village, and we just need to respect. We need to use it properly, and it is good to call things out into the light, and
it is.
throw a spotlight on it, and start the dialogue. Um,
You can sure as hell believe it that people are watching themselves now.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Oh, but that's a whole other topic, which I can't even get into. But yeah, well,
Damned if you don't.
and speaking of using, no, I love how. Yeah, well, speaking of using your powers for good, our friends at Evil Dead the Musical got an interesting tweet today. Someone took it upon themselves to tweet at them and say, if you like the Evil Dead and respect it, you wouldn't do a musical. Their response was because we occasionally love starting shit. My response was, here's my take. Shut the fuck up. Hashtag STFU. When the cast of the franchise digs this crazy cool homage, your opinion is voided. Thanks for playing. Look, I don't know who did this tweet, but I'm going to talk to you for a second. And I've been wanting to do this for a long time. Not just you, but a lot of people. Look, Evil Dead in its incarnations, and in this case it's a musical. Did you ever look at the history of it? Did you ever look at George Reinblatt, who actually weighed in on this and said his response was, "Wait, is this true? If so, what the hell have I been doing with my life for the last 15 years?" I mean, the show is amazing if you've seen it,
It is.
and the soundtrack is incredible, and it's nothing but
A
an
homage.
homage, you know, an homage to this franchise. And even the people that are in Evil Dead have seen it. Bruce Campbell has seen it. He likes this musical. You evidently don't know that it's a musical. You think that somebody just, was in the local Denny's and wrote it on a napkin.
How
No.
long has it been? 10 years now that it's been in running? 15. Holy crap.
George
That's a long time.
Reinblatt sent out a tweet about it being 15 years and all the cities that they played. And this particular Evil Dead, the musical, I took some umbrage to this tweet because Maddie, who's the producer, Maddie Gregg and company, not only are they doing this show, but they're involved with St. Baldrick's, which is a charity for kids with cancer. This is what this musical can do. So we have this clown, and I know people are going to get, but it's his or her opinion. Great, yeah, it's their opinion. But you know what? Okay, I'm going to speak the truth here, and maybe we can delete it. Yeah, here it comes. As they call it on Neurotic, Susan's Truth Bomb. Evil Dead franchise, I am so over it. I know this is going to be a shock, but there's a reason why I'm over it. Because of these rabid fans that will not let go of this franchise and want to keep it going until everybody's dead. And then they do tweets like this when it's obvious this person didn't even know it was a musical. They weren't even aware of the history. So I'll give them that benefit of the doubt. But these people are so vocal and they drown out fans that just enjoy what Rob Tapper did and what Sam Raimi did and what Bruce Campbell did and what Danny Hicks did. And I can go on and on down the line. But the point of it is that okay, so Bruce came out today and said that he's voicing Ash in a video game. Now we're all going to lose our collective shit about it.
But we all knew about that. Well, he told us about that video game a while ago.
He told me about it on Twitter. But of course, no, he told somebody else, not me. I'm negligible, but that's a whole other story that I won't even get into because I could go on and on about that one, people. But, so now he's doing this video game, but it's not a surprise. He said he was going to do it. But he also said that it's an obligation that he had, it seems like, prior to retiring Ash. And, I understand why he's doing the voice. If I had a character that I did for 40 years, I wouldn't want, like, Ashton Kutcher coming in. I know I'm picking on him a lot. But I wouldn't want somebody, Brad Pitt, coming in and voicing Ash. No. I'd be like, you know what? I may be older now, but fuck, I can still talk. So I'm going to do this. But, the point of it is, and I've been silent a long time about this, and this kind of was like the pinnacle for me today when I saw that tweet. I don't care if you come at me. I really don't. I'm done. I'm tired of it. The Evil Dead, let it go. Let it live. If it comes back, great. Enjoy the games. I even promoted a game that somebody wants to do that wants IDW, no, actually, pardon me, a comic series that they want IDW to do. Okay, I'm down with that. Enjoy this game when it comes out. But for the love of God, quit tweeting at Bruce every time he puts out a tweet. Hey, what's season 4? Hey, Ash. Hey, a chainsaw. Hey, he's walking in the woods in Oregon. Oh my God, where's the cabin? Knock it the fuck off. Okay? Just cut it out. It's done. He said he's good about his decision. Why can't you be good about it? I don't get this. And if you don't understand the Evil Dead musical, please, for the love of God, don't tweet about it. Keep it in your, if you, keep it on the deep, deep down low. We don't want to hear that. And for people that are, that don't know what this particular crew is doing with St. Baldrick's, don't go tweeting that stuff. I'm sorry. And you can come at me. I'm done. Come at me, yell at me about Evil Dead. Go ahead. I mean, I don't know. I kind of went off on a tangent there, but it was time. It was time for me to say my feelings on it.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah. What?
Well, I'm proud of you.
I mean, I've held it in for so long. I haven't even really touched on it in my writing because it's a sensitive topic, and you know what? I'll probably lose like thousands of followers or whatever. But you know what? I can't anymore. I mean, people make decisions to move on. Let's respect it and let's just stop. I don't understand wanting to perpetuate it. I mean, you're a Sam Raimi fan. You love the franchise as much as I do. You talk to Bruce. And I just want to point this one out too, because while I'm on a roll, um, this you, if correct me if I'm wrong, Abby was the first one to speak to Bruce after Ash versus Evil Dead. We haven't heard it yet, but she was the first to speak to Bruce before Horror Fuel, before that other publication, which I refuse to name. And yeah, so I mean, now people are like, oh, well, you're voicing this game, so it's just one step for you to go and be Ash again.
Right.
You talked to him. You saw him when he talked to you. You saw his face. Is he done with this character, like portraying it on screen?
He seemed pretty adamant on it. I mean, like he said, we didn't talk about Ash when we were talking. But then when my audio failed the third time and he gave me something that I could go home with, he's like, I'm done with Ash. I'm done. I have retired. I mean, when the audio does come out, you'll hear it from him. He says it to me. I mean, and he seemed like he was pretty adamant on it.
I mean, everybody's like, oh no, when Sam snaps his fingers, he'll be back. You know what, Bubba Hotep? He said no to that, and here we are 16 years later.
Yep.
He's still saying no. And from what I got from Horror Fuel, it was really rough on him. Season 3 was really rough on him physically. And he said he's already on the decline, and he wanted to not be embarrassing with it. Because I used to talk about this a lot when I did the Ash versus Evil Dead podcast with Neurotics. And I used to say, he's 60. 60 is not 30. I'm sorry. And for some people, they have this perception that he's the mullet wearing curly haired guy from Army of Darkness. We've moved on. It's 3 decades later. He's 60. We can't be flying around in harnesses. We can't be getting the shit knocked out of us, crawling in dirt all the time,
covered in blood,
basements. And personally, do I have any inside information? No. I kind of think he's done. And I think he's adamant about it. And I think the only way we're going to get Ash is in a comic book and maybe a mention if they ever get around to doing a Ghost Speeders, or maybe he'll make a cameo. But I don't foresee Bruce being Ash Williams for an extended period of time in a live action.
Yeah, I don't. I think that because he told me about the video game when we talked.
Yeah.
I don't think I got it on video or audio, but
Yeah.
he
And
he said he was going to do voice work. He said he said that there was projects and he was just going to do him, I guess, really.
and I just, I mean, here's the thing. I'm probably, hopefully, who knows? I'm hoping to talk to him at Horror Hound. He said he'll talk to me, and I'm hoping that that happens. But I hate to tell people, really not going to talk about Ash. I'm moving on. I mean, I do my Ash Wednesdays, but and I'm gonna have to write something up about this latest news. But I'm not talking to him about Ash. I want to know other things. I just want to move on. And the whole point of this tweet before I went off on it is that what? If you don't know what you're talking about, just don't get on social media and tweet about it. Because they do respect the Evil Dead, pal. I don't know if you're a female or a male, but these cats, they respect the Evil Dead. Just shut up. Hashtag yep you. It's gonna trend. So enough on that topic because I kind of went off into an area I didn't want to go off into, but there it is for that. So let's move on to with me. I just love this kid. Yeah, he's in his 30s, and I'm calling him a kid, but hey, he is a kid. He is a kid to me. I'm gonna take Wyatt in the van because I think he has a lot of talent. I love him as Dud. This drink would fit Dud. Like I said, I raved about him in Cold in July. I did Wyatt Russell. I'm gonna take him in the van, and I just need to say this: TMZ caught up with him. It looked like an airport, and they asked him, "What was it? What do you call your parents, Kurt and Goldie?"
Oh my God.
I'm like, for real? Journalism? What the fuck are you doing, TMZ? But then again, and he's like, well, they're just mom and dad to me. Well, no fucking shit, they're mom and dad to him. What do they expect? Yeah, they're Kurt, Russell, and Goldie Hawn, but that's his mom and dad. That's all he knows them as. I mean, he knows they're actors and knows their work, but they're the people that raised him. So I thought that was a crazy question. And he answered it so well. And he answered it with such style and poise that I'm just gonna say, I want to take Wyatt in the van. So Wyatt, come with me. We're gonna have some cocktails. We're gonna have some good discussions. Maybe we'll talk about sharks, waves, what have you. So I'm taking him. Who are you taking this week?
I'll take Riot Whistle too.
You want Wyatt? You want in on some Wyatt action?
Heck yeah. That I was watching. Okay, so I was watching Lodge 49, and there are moments in time when he looks just like Goldie Hawn, and he
Yeah,
looks and he acts just like Kurt Russell. And I mean,
yeah.
I, it was there's that scene in the first episode where he's talking to the oh gosh, where he's getting the loan from the
Oh,
pawn shop.
Bert,
Yeah,
the pawn shop guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he throws up his hands, and I was like, oh my god, is that overboard status? You know, like it was crazy. I was just like blown away because I'd never noticed it, and
Yeah.
until you said it last week that he was related. But
Yeah, and when you look at him in certain light, even though he's fairer than his dad is like a darker blonde, but he's a little more fair like Goldie. But
mm-hmm.
when you look at him, he reminds you of Kurt in The Thing, especially with the beard. So yeah, we can take Wyatt. Wyatt's great, and I hope, that this goes on for season two. I hope that he's got a lot of stuff coming out because I would see him. I mean, I think he's a guy to watch. We'll put it like that. So we got him in the van, and like I said, next week, barring audio issues or what have you, we will have our different segments coming up. And last week I talked about this, and we're not going to get the visual, um, but we're having a contest, and I put this out on Twitter, so you can look at it under at Susan on the Ledge. I put out a picture of the shirt from Joe Bob Briggs's last drive-in. Cigar Goyle on Twitter, one of my buddies, was gracious enough to let the podcast have that shirt as a giveaway. And like I said, I have Bubba Hotep comics, and those are coming up, and they're signed by Josh Japuga, who is the writer of the comic. And to win this shirt for Joe Bob Briggs, you have to answer questions. Now, out live, go to the comment section in YouTube and respond. And the first person that responds will send you that. Um, go ahead and then send us via our business email, where we can send it to. But here's the question: what Stephen King miniseries and Martin Scorsese film was Joe Bob Briggs in, and the names of his characters? So it's two parts. First part being what Stephen King miniseries, and then what Scorsese film was Joe Bob in, and then we want the name of his characters for the miniseries and the Scorsese movie. So if you think you have that information, what you want to do is you want to put it in the comments section, and then the first person that responds and everybody will see will be the one that will get the t-shirt. Obviously it'll be correct, and then you want to leave your mailing information so we can get that out there to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Like I said, we'll have more contests coming up with more interesting questions. We're going to have more segments, different segments. I mean, this is our third episode. Our first two, we had to get our feet wet. We had to understand what it's about. Sure, I know I said that it was going to be live, but we're probably going to end up being live audio.
Ish.
Yeah, audio-ish, because of, that's just the way it's going to be for a little bit until, we figure some stuff out.
So we work the bugs out.
Yeah, there you go. And, anybody that's ever started on YouTube will certainly understand what we're talking about. But stay tuned for us, because we're going to have an episode for, once Abby's completed with episode two, I'm going to drop that. We're going to drop it all over. You'll hear about it. So basically, thanks for coming out with us to episode 103 of Unrestricted Content Podcast. And like I said, I'm Susan Layton. You can find me at Susan on the Ledge on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram at Convergin. You can read my articles at 1428 Elm, at Heroic Hollywood, and I'm covering Lodge 49 at TV Series Hub. Abby, why don't you go ahead and give us some of your plugs?
Well, you can find me on Facebook at Abby Fagan or on any other social media platform as at Sam Raimi Fan.
Yep. So that's it. So if you want to contact us, if you want to hit us up, if you want to join, oh, and the podcast, let me mention that we are also on Facebook and on Twitter. On Twitter, we're at content underscore podcast. So go ahead and follow us there. Like us and follow us on Facebook where we're under unrestricted content podcast. So you can follow us there. So everybody, I'm going to use this old chestnut. I'm going to bring it back. Um, Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. Thank you, Casey Kasem. Night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Night.